presenter is Mr. Daniel Yu. Daniel was fortunate enough to start his real estate career immediately after university. He started out with the residential sector, but had always had a big passion for investment real estate. Daniel was fortunate enough to learn from local developers by helping them acquire and sell multifamily land assembly developments throughout the Canby corridor craze. He was gaining an analytical insight from their medium to large scale operations. He had the pleasure to be involved with investment companies in repositioning rental apartment buildings and mixed use buildings. Daniel now spends significant amounts of time in the industrial real estate space, assisting small businesses to end their tenant life and start owning their own industrial workspace, acquire industrial development sites for developers, or creating strata warehousing solutions. Welcome, Daniel.
All right, thank you. Thank you everybody for coming here tonight. Great ideas so far. I only have 3 people done your presentation, and I already got lots of ideas in my head. So today I want to present to you guys a very unique property. So my partner David and I, we have just put this particular listing on the market. This is an apartment. It's a multifamily complex located in West End in downtown Vancouver, and it's comprised of 6 stratified units, and they're all townhouses, and they all have 3 levels each. So this location is located on Haro Street in Cardero, and it's around 1 block away from the big Safeway off at the end of Robson Street and Denman. So the location for this multifamily complex it's amazing. Tenants love to be in this area, and they like how it is close to all the amenities on Robson Street there. And go on the next slide. So this property, it's mostly comprised of 2 bedrooms, and it's got 5 of the units are 2 bedrooms, and 1 of the units 3 bedroom. And this complex is also made up of 6 individual owners. So if you guys are not familiar, in recent years, there's been condos and small complexes coming together to decide as a strata that they would like to sell together. So this is one of that scenario. The 6 individual owners of this complex came together, had their strata meeting, and they decided to come together and agree to sell together. And we're listing it on behalf of a strata council. Most of these units are over 1,000. All of the units are over 1,000 square feet. One of them is actually a 3 bedroom. And the land size of this is around 4,300 square feet. So this is more of a multifamily holding property and investment play, and not a development play. What's unique about this kind of opportunity is that you will be acquiring this complex as a stratified building, which gives you lots of flexibility. So what we're seeing other investors do in this kind of scenario is that they will keep it stratified instead of liquidating the strata plan, as what many developers do. Keep it stratified. They would renovate and reposition these apartment units or townhouse units, and then they could hold it and continue to rent them out as a rental multifamily investment, or they could decide to sell all of the units and put on open market and sell it as renovated apartment townhouse units. Many of them will choose to keep a couple units and then rent out a few. Some of them leave it for their family members to live in. So because these units are occupied by the owners themselves, so we do not actually have a financial statement to work with like we do for many rental complexes. So we went around and then we did some research on nearby rental rates, and then we found out that units of this size in the neighborhood, we could get around $3,000 per unit. Because this is more unique, it comes with 1 parking, and some of them have rooftop decks, some of them are renovated. We bump up the rental rates, the estimated rental rates up to some $3,200, some are $3,500. The other thing to note there is that this building, half of the units have actually been renovated, and the renovations are not done by investors. They're all done by owner occupiers who have their families living there themselves. So these are done up to the standard. And what's great about this aspect about this investment is that a lot of the multifamily investors, they sometimes like to see some of the units being done already so they can work on the rest while they have some of the units maximizing their rental potential. We've also discussed with some property managers that we know, and we found out from them that the expense ratio for downtown area multifamily complex sits around 35 to 40% expense ratio. So we kind of use that number to come up with this projection that the total expense throughout the year should be around 37%, providing us with a 2.6% cap on this complex. If you guys want to go on to the next slide. So this is just like a couple of photos that we have of the property. The rooftop deck is amazing. We've actually seen one of the units there already, and it's just a great place to be with. One of the bigger selling point about this complex is that majority of the rental units that are available in that neighborhood, they don't have these larger size units. They're more catered for a single person or for a couple to live in, where these 1,000 square feet townhouse units could fit a family in there. And having a rooftop deck in West End, it's definitely a plus. We can go on to the next slide to see some of the photos. As you can see, lots of these renovations. This building was built in 1985, and a lot of them have been updated throughout the years. 3 units have been majorly updated. So it's a great plus, and it saves the investor quite a bit of money. Going back to the next one. Yeah, just some photos. Another thing I would like to add to this investment is that sometimes when we have a situation like this kind of listing, a lot of the owner occupiers, they would like to stay. They would like to stay in the unit after the deal have closed. So immediately you would have a tenant that's already living there. Don't have to worry about moving in and out. And since they've been living there for a longer period of time and they used to own the place, they would take care of the property much better as well, compared to a normal tenant that we find off the internet. So this will help maintain the complex in a much better way. And then also, one more thing to add is that this complex also comes with 6 underground parking that's assigned 1 unit to each strata lot. That's pretty much it for this investment opportunity. We've gone to the next slide. We have the SWOT analysis. So this building being stratified provides the investor with lots of flexibility. They can, for example, I understand that there's lots of buildings in the greater Vancouver area that don't allow a Airbnb operation. They're not allowed to rent out their units for an Airbnb. So if a potential buyer were to buy this investment, they would have 100% share of the strata votes, and they could propose to themselves that they want Airbnb to be allowed, and no one will go against them because there's no one else. So that's convenient. Other than that, like I mentioned before, we've seen it in the past where investors, they just renovate the whole thing. Maybe a year down the road, they would hire a realtor to put all 6 units on a market together and sell it as a project marketing. And they could do that as well. Or they could keep a couple of units, and when one of their kids needed some cash, they could sell off 1 unit or 2 unit to help their kids out, and then keep the rest of it as a rental investment. The weakness about this investment is obviously with many apartment buildings. These are all built years ago, and there's structural issues, maybe potential roofing that they got to be replaced, and it's much more expensive than a residential house. There's potential water ingress problem, potential rain screen problems that might pop up in the future. The other issue about this specific investment is that the land itself is just over 4,300 square feet. So you're going to be looking at this as a multifamily rental investment and not as a development play. As always, being a landlord Vancouver, there's always going to be issues with tenants. Can't get away from that. The opportunity part, it's just really rare. It's a really rare opportunity to find this kind of product on a market. Majority of the apartment rental, multifamily rental investments that we see in the West End market are between 20 to 30 units, and those will fetch far above $10 million each building. So if there's an investor out there who's looking for something that's less than $10 million, but they want a AAA location, this will be a great option for them. The other thing is that this is a smaller building complex of 6 units. A lot of times I hear other multifamily investors, other Zoom meetings and other discussions out there saying that 6 unit is kind of like the benchmark between getting a property manager to look after the complex for you or to self-manage. So this is kind of like the maximum number of units that we go for self-management, and that could help them save on some of the expenses. One of the threats is that there is an underground parking in this complex. So over the years, issues may come up that they got to spend some money to maintain it well. And obviously renovation costs, material costs are on the rise. So that's one of the issues that we're seeing as well. And that could become a potential threat. So this is a great opportunity for somebody who wants to look into the multifamily market. It's something that personally I haven't seen before. An opportunity like this, sub 10 units at a AAA location in downtown West End. For this particular listing, we are having a tour of this property tomorrow from 1 to 2 o'clock. So if anybody's interested in taking a look at this one or want more information on it, shoot me a message, give me a call, and then we can chat more about it. I typically don't talk about my active listings, but I just find that this is a very unique one, and we don't often see this kind of stuff on the market. So I like to bring this one to the meeting and share with everybody what's potentially out there. That's pretty much it.